Our first speaker this morning is Matt Arnold, and Matt is the director of the Colorado Clear the Bench effort, and if I can find the sheet here. He's a fifth-generation Coloradoan, a Republican, serves in the Army National Guard as a captain, started Clear the Bench effort 1 year ago. Please help me welcome Matt Arnold.
I'm going to walk a little bit. Folks, good morning. This is a fantastic turnout. To paraphrase Michelle Obama, never in my life have I been more proud of my country than what's happening right now. Seriously, this could not have happened a year ago. The revival of citizens standing up. We have been slapped in the face with reality. Yes. We've all thought we could not pay attention to politics. Guess what, folks? Politics had a very strong interest in us, and we are all waking up and realizing we have got to get involved out of sheer self-defense, because otherwise we are going to get bent over a barrel. So this turnout this morning is just very encouraging. I'm so happy to see folks that are getting active, getting involved, and paying attention. And that's kind of what I'm doing. My name is Matt Arnold. I am not a candidate for office. I'm not another guy looking for another government job. I'm kind of the anti-candidate. But I am going to ask you for your votes. The four most important votes you have the opportunity to cast in this very important election year. And it's not downplaying the importance of anything else. But this year we have a unique opportunity. We don't elect our judges in Colorado. We haven't done so since the 1960s. And I think that's a good thing. The intent was to try to take the politics out of the judicial branch. Unfortunately, they weren't able to take the politics out of the people in that judicial branch. And this year, we have a unique opportunity. Four of our state Supreme Court justices, four of the worst, the most activist, the most partisan, the most constitution-shredding justices in the country, need your vote. They need your approval to continue taking away your constitutional rights. Don't give it to them. Vote no on these unjust justices. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Michael, no, I could talk all day about all the things they've been doing to you and still have room left over to talk about more things. I'm just going to concentrate on the four major cases I'm talking about, the core four, that really impact you on a day-to-day basis. Big time. The first case that, and the one that really got my attention and got me to, like a lot of people, you get outraged by things that happen, and you think, someone ought to do something. Someone ought to do something about these justices. And I looked in the mirror and it's like, well, I guess that someone's going to be me. Because last year, on March 16th, they passed this so-called mill levy tax freeze. How many folks heard about that? How many folks have had the dubious pleasure of getting your property tax bill this year? Yeah, despite the fact that our property values have been taking a hit, most of us have seen our property taxes go up because of that unconstitutional law. Yeah, you can blame the legislature for passing it. Yes, you can blame Governor Bill Ritter for signing it into law, and you should. But most importantly, you should blame this cabal of justices in the Supreme Court that violated your constitutional rights, that took a look at the clear language of the Constitution, played word games in order to justify this property tax increase, because it is. How many folks here know that you can raise taxes in Colorado, but they have to go through this little process of asking you first, the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. It isn't an option. It isn't a guideline. It's the law. It's our Constitution. And this state Supreme Court justice basically rewrote the Constitution so they could pass this unconstitutional property tax increase. Folks, that's just installment number one. Because what they did is they locked in a percentage rate at a near historic high. So when our property values start to recover, what should happen under Tabor is the rate should float back down. No, they locked it in. So just when we're starting to get back on our feet, we're going to get gouged for even more taxes. Or actually, because inflation's coming, no question about it. Well, the dollar value is going to go up, even if your real value isn't going to go up. Guess what? Your taxes are going to go up along with that. And folks, that ruling alone, it didn't just increase your property taxes. And this is where this is kind of appropriate we're having this today, because a year ago, Thursday, April Fool's, the in-house lawyers for the Colorado legislature briefed the Joint Budget Committee. And they said, you know, that ruling, it didn't just uphold this property tax increase, it also put this long list of tax credits and tax exemptions on the chopping block. And it was literally hours after the JBC got that briefing that the first bill was out the door to take advantage of that and impose a new tax increase by the word game of eliminating a tax credit. And that was the tobacco tax increase. That happened last year. And that passed, so we saw the price of tobacco go up by 84 cents a pack for cigarettes and a commensurate amount for chew and for cigars and loose tobacco. That's all they had time for last year. But this year, the legislative session kicked off with the Dirty Dozen tax increase packages. How many folks have heard of those? Folks, this hits all of us. They went everywhere from silly things like taxing candy and soda and doggy bags. And my doggy, by the way, was very upset about that. And I went down there and testified against these bills in the House Finance Committee and the Senate Finance Committee when they had hearings. And, you know, of course, my doggy asked me to testify on her behalf because, being a doggy, they wouldn't let her in. And she had a very clear, succinct message she wanted me to send. Bad legislators, bad justices, don't tax my doggy bag. Well, they laughed, but they didn't listen, and of course they did tax the doggy bag, along with the candy tax, along with a whole bunch of stuff, pesticides. As an agricultural community, we're pretty aware of how that hits us. Now that tax has gone up. Taxes on animal feed, animal drugs, animal hormones, all that stuff, again, for decades has not been taxed. Now is, thanks to this legislature, thanks to this governor, but mostly thanks to the Supreme Court, who ripped open the loophole in the Constitution so they could do that. That's just that one case, and there are more coming. More of these remaining tax credits and tax exemptions they haven't had time to get around to first. Folks, they're going to come after every last nickel and dime in your pocket, every which way they can, and avoid that pesky requirement asking you first before they take your money. So that's the one mechanism is they don't call it a tax increase, they call it a freeze, or they call it eliminating a tax credit or tax exemption.